Robert, your character Edward and Bella have such a nice character arc in New Moon. Could you describe for us what you see as their arc together?
Yeah, I'll try and summarize it as best I can. It's really... Bella and Edward have got over the initial explosion of meeting each other and just finding out that they love each other and getting over... They've kind of gotten over the acceptance factor of, he's a vampire and she's a human, and they've just said that's okay, and then New Moon starts. So it really becomes about their relationship, especially at the beginning, just trying to deal with the just everyday, the commitment aspect of it. It's like how to deal with a committed relationship, which in a lot of ways is a lot more difficult, and especially when he starts introducing her to his family and just trying to live naturally with her and not thinking about the dangers all the time, and then it becomes too difficult for Edward to handle, I guess. Where Bella doesn't consider that, but Edward can't handle it.
Your American accent in the film is spot on. Did you work with a dialect coach?
No, I didn't. But it's funny you say it. I mean, people are complaining to me about that. Your accent, Newman, is a little shaky.
Well, you know what? The fact is, it's not really even an American accent, quote unquote, because it's a vampire's accent.
Yeah,
essentially.
It's difficult. It's supposed to be from a period, and I guess it's just a weird voice. I guess it's just the voice that comes out when you read the script.
What did you draw upon to find that voice?
I guess in the books it seems there's a lot of mentions about how his voice is supposed to be so smooth, and the adjectives they use in the book about it are so impossible to achieve. So it's like you've got to do some kind of approximation while still not looking like you're playing a voiceover actor or something for a coffee commercial. That's the difficult thing. So I don't know. I guess I don't really know. I didn't really draw from anything. I guess it just comes out.
Now, there's a lot of physicality in this movie, especially the fight scene when you are in Italy. How did you prepare for those scenes?
The good thing about Chris on this one, he liked there was quite a lot of freedom in the fight, and he just wanted it really to have a look, which was sort of just elegant and almost like balletic when they're fighting. And so it was more just about generalized movements, and so we did a few things, but it was, in a lot of ways, we kind of worked it out when we were rehearsing. And also Daniel Cudmore, who's I'm fighting against, is like 7 foot tall and like massive, so he kind of just placed me in various different situations. So it was a lot easier, and he's a really good fighter.
He was definitely leading the fight.
Yeah, leading the dance. Yeah. But I was just getting beaten up. I'm much more convincing at getting beaten up than beating people up.
Now, you mentioned the sequences where you appear to Bella, or Edward appears to Bella, and you said also that it's not really him speaking to her, but more that she's haunted by her own remembrances of Edward. Did you take a different tact in playing those appearances versus playing Edward regularly?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult. I mean, it's really... So many people had different opinions about how to portray that, because it's different in the book, and it's different, and just to make it seem real to yourself, that it's hard, because you're not playing yourself, you're not playing your character, and so I guess I tried to make it, when we were doing it on the day, as blank as possible, and then after watching it for the first time, it seemed like a little too blank, and so we kind of changed it in ADR and tried to make it more, I guess, as attuned with the environment as we could. Just, I mean, I really wanted it to just disappear. I mean, that you could barely see it at all, but like people were afraid of not having enough Edward in the movie and things like that. So, you had to get a kind of compromise between the two.
Now, the Twilight series and your character, Edward in particular, seems to be the genesis of the vampire craze that's happening lately. What do you attribute that to?
I think it comes in waves as well. I mean, there's I was looking at the way a lot of vampire films come out at the same time. I remember when Blade came out, there was another little resurgence then. They've always been pretty popular. But now, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, what's happened. And all kind of relatively similar storylines. I don't know. I don't know what I attribute it to. I mean, in a lot of ways, I attribute it to the amount of money Twilight make. That's probably why there's a lot of like spin-offs. But I don't know. I have no idea. There's so many strange things have happened with Twilight. I mean, I had no idea, but there was this subculture of people who just loved anything to do with vampires, no matter how they were portrayed. If it said the word vampire, then they'd go and see it.
And what's nice about Twilight and the Cullen family in particular is there's not a lot of the stereotypical vampire-ness, I guess. You know, you're not biting a lot of necks. There's no fangs. There's not a lot of, people walking around in black capes. They're refined people. Do you think that helps their popularity?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely not a horror film, which I think marginalizes you quite a lot if there's blood and guts everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I think also the hidden threat is always something which is good, especially in essentially a romantic film. If you have you just have the kind of the subtext of the fear, the kind of they're just pretending to be nice, refined people. Really, they're kind of almost demons underneath, and they're just always holding themselves back from revealing their true nature. I mean, I think there's always something kind of exciting about that.
Especially the scenes where the whole family is together and the way they're all kind of lined up. And you're right, there is that just under the surface danger that's prevalent. Did you guys discuss that before you shot those scenes as a family, as a cast?
Yeah, I remember there was one scene. I don't know if they even used it in the end, but there was one master shot when Bella first cuts her finger at the beginning. I don't know what Chris was saying. He was trying to do. It was either a Kurosawa shot or something, where like she cuts it, and there was a master where everyone turned around their head at exactly the same time. It was just a really simple thing, but it's the scariest thing. I mean, when you see everyone turn around, it was just a really weird angle, and it was from Bella's perspective, and you just suddenly see like how many people there's 6, 7 people just all turn around, and there's just nothing, and they're just suddenly completely emotionless, looking at you like someone who she thinks that this family loves and respects her and has taken her in as one of their own, and suddenly you realize the entire thing is not a facade, but it's very shaky.
Now, you guys have been shooting these movies together for over 2 years. It's very easy now going into the third installment to kind of fall right into your characters because you guys have gotten to know each other so well.
It's definitely that. But also the annoying thing about the third one, I shot a movie in between the second and third. And the first two, I had a big chunk of preparation time, which always makes something both easier and more rewarding. And this time I went literally straight from New York, where I was shooting this movie called Remember Me. And I came and started shooting like 2 days after I finished, 3 days after I finished or something, which was tough. But it definitely makes it nicer. In some ways it makes it nicer, in some ways, you have to fight to surprise the other actors, because in a lot of ways you're afraid of them seeing what you're thinking in a scene, which is the kiss of death, I think.